Welcome to the Coach's Preview Show. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. I would like to welcome my very special guest this week, Mr. Donnie Webb from Franklin High School, Scott Blade, Independence High School. Appreciate you guys being here.
Thanks for having us.
So, obviously tonight's a big region game for both teams. Franklin 0-1 in region play with a loss to Ravenwood. Independence 1-0 after a win over Centennial. Let me ask you guys this. We're, after this week, 5 weeks in. Is that hard to believe as a coach? It's halfway over after tonight?
Well, it goes fast. We tell the seniors all the time, you're going to blink and it's going to be over. It's, it's when you're having, I guess when you're having fun, it goes fast. So we'll see.
Are you having fun, Coach?
I don't know. We'll see.
Coach Blade, hard to believe 5 weeks in after tonight?
Yeah, the longer you do this, it seems like the seasons go by even faster. You know, it seems like it was just yesterday we were getting ready for scrimmages, and now you fast forward a couple months and we're already at week 5, and lots taking place.
And based on my math, now you got to understand I'm not probably great at math, but even if you take it all the way to the end, it's a third of the way through after tonight. It's just unbelievable to me that it's gone that quick. Coach Webb, you guys 1-3 overall. I would argue, you've lost 3 games that a lot of people would lose. I mean, you've lost out of the league, Riverdale, Summit, both really good teams. 0-1 in the league with a loss to Ravenwood. So really, in terms of region standings, you're not really hurt, but do you still have to work on selling that to your team?
Oh, region game, and then with it being a Williamson County game, it's pretty much to get them to show up and play. That's done. We always talk about as coaches, these are easy ones to know you're going to have excitement about. Because they're like freebies with trying to. The type of things you're going to say to them and that type of stuff. But without a doubt, our challenge is we don't want to get behind further in the region because we've already lost one, and of course we're playing Independence, who's a really good football team, and so we're still preparing on us, trying to make us better, and then go from there.
Coach Blade, sort of the opposite in terms of momentum. You guys are 3-1 overall on a 3-game winning streak, 1-0 in league play. So you've got momentum on your side, so to speak, especially after week 1, right?
Yeah, we thought week 1 we were careless with the ball. We had some young people, first game type of mistakes that you hated to have, but we felt like we've gotten better each week, and the kids are got great attitudes and are working their tails off, and are excited about this Friday and the next opportunity.
For both teams, including tonight, 4 of your last 6 are region games. So obviously it gets ramped up a little bit as these, Coach, you mentioned it, being a region game, being a Williamson County game. So they should be a little bit easier to get fired up for, I would think.
Yeah, and that just happens on, the way we draw and where the schedule is, and then working on the fall break that we must have on Fridays.
You're off fall break, right?
We are.
Are you guys off fall break, Coach?
Yes.
And
both seem to be very happy about it, by the way.
Well, but it changed the type of way because we were always moving that week 7 or 8 game to basically week 1, and then so at a lot of times you would have been saying the opposite. We had less region games to go, but a lot of it just depends upon scheduling and when the calendar committee decides to move that fall break around that we must have. And I don't know, we didn't have.
So did you get lucky on that then in terms of it being that you're off week?
We all did, because it's also it would have been a non-district week, so it was either your bye week. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it worked out that we were able to use it as our bye week. Like Coach said, in the past we've maybe moved up teams to Thursdays if they're willing. It's a long season, but it goes by fast, but it's long, and the kids need time to, and coaches and parents need a breather in there. So it comes at a perfect time. We still got an incredible stretch till we get there, but it'll come at a much needed time for sure.
Well, let me go off script here a little bit because I didn't plan on us really talking about this, but do you already have a plan right now for what you'll do that week? Do the kids know it? Or are you going to do, hey, let's see how it's going?
I have a plan, but my kids don't know it.
So not something you've necessarily shared?
No, we don't talk about that far ahead. We'll get I mean, we plan out as coaches that far ahead, but as far as putting other stuff, we'll send probably an email out to our parents to let them know what the schedule is as far as what days are off. So when for us, it's a bye week. So the school's off Thursday and Friday, and I usually don't do it, but I will give them off Thursday and Friday of that weekend, just because, like I said, it's been, Donnie and I were talking about this earlier, this last 2 months, this heat's been unbearable. It's been really, really difficult, and I'm not, everybody's has to deal with it. I get it, but it's been tough, and on the body and everything else. So we're looking forward to getting to that point. Now I'll give my kids a couple days off that I normally don't give them.
Coach, your guys, do they?
They would know because, and it's not that we talk about it now.
Right.
But they got a calendar in March saying what the schedule would be through there. It's just kind of the way we do it, you know, but it's the same thing. We're not talking about it.
Right.
But they can look at a calendar and see what we got.
You know, the thing that's so interesting being in Williamson County, this is not a knock on anybody. So many of these kids and families travel so much. I mean, that's not what I was used to at their age. You know, if we had 3 or 4 days off, we were like, great, we had some time off, but it wasn't necessarily we were taking these elaborate vacations.
Right.
Obviously, we're in a little different situation being here.
But that's where, I mean, I know we're here for the game, but that's where the whole scheduling thing, because what Coach Crawford and I did was we basically both blocked off week 7 and 8, and we said Franklin would play each other wherever fall break hits, and then the other one we'd take off. And because when we had Spring Hill last year, you know, it hurts the gate, which hurts every other sport, you know, which is part of that school, because the gate for those football games is the bloodline.
No, I think it's good we're talking about this. I think it gives maybe the viewers a chance to know, you know, in terms of coaching, I think what happens a lot of times, your job looks easy. People think it looks easy, right? But then what we just talked about, probably no one even thinks about. And that's just another thing that you have to deal with in terms of scheduling. Okay, let's talk game history. Obviously, it has really nothing to do with tonight's game, but just to let folks know, last year, Independence 24-7 win. 2017, Independence 34-24. Year before that, Independence was obviously in a different classification. You guys didn't play. Coach Blade, let me ask you this, and to me this is an interesting matchup because what you're kind of known for as individual coaches. You're facing a guy that's really kind of known for his defensive capabilities. Talk about the challenges of that, facing a Donnie Webb coach defense. Is that different than other people? Coach is trying to play this up.
No, all due respect. Donnie and I, when he was at Franklin and I was at Hillsborough, we had some great.
We did.
Donnie was the defensive coordinator there. Now, there was some battles. There was some fun games, lots of talent, both sides of the ball. And I think one of them, you know, well, heck, you might have, well, you were still at Beach at that time, but I think it was at 07, Lightning that last couple minutes.
Oh, the tie.
And so it was a tie, and then we couldn't make it up, so it went down as a no contest. I mean, but it was an epic battle. The next year, the two of us played each other in the Blue Cross Bowl at Vanderbilt. That was the first time they had done that in a while. And I think they won by 6. They had us pretty, you know, going pretty good. And then we came back in that fourth quarter, and it became a really good game. And so I have, you know, Donnie and I have known each other for a while, and I've got nothing but respect for his teams and how well they play. Friday night will be another, just like you said, it's a inter-county rivalry. So there's not a lot to say about that. The kids will be ready to play. The challenge is always great. You know, where can we possibly attack on their defense, and then how do we take advantage of it?
Coach, same question, and you're right. You're shaking your head talking about it. It's players matter, right?
Oh,
but certainly in terms of someone who's really good at a certain thing, which Coach Blade's known for what he does offensively. How's that a challenge for you guys tonight, beyond what who the players are?
First of all, just to kind of echo what Coach said, it's and we've said it before, a lot of it, you know what you're going to get. Now, what part are they going to attack on us, and then what are we going to try to do to combat that? going all the way back with the different skill sets we may have had. Going back to those, I know it was different teams, but we had real big physical corners back then, and so we would always play hard press cover two.
Hard press.
I mean, and it was it's what we did, and because I remember when we didn't play each other, we scrimmaged, and then when we came back in, I remember us talking about now it's a different skill set of kid that we have. We're playing now a little more. I hate to use the word, but we call it a soft two, a two-read type stuff. And so it changes just the way they're going to attack, because it was different ways they attacked us schematically. And then obviously, depending upon who's making the plays, who's catching them, or who's not making the plays is what turns him. Because a lot of times, I don't care what the game is, it becomes most teams, when you look, most high school teams are, I think, you look at formation tendencies, but with Coach, you're pretty much going to get a balanced 2x2, and so now he's schematically looking at how we're going to line up to where they can do their stuff.
Oh, that's interesting. Coach, this is a question for both of you. I think sometimes people kind of wrongly assume, maybe, because, again, I think Coach Blade, we'd all agree, is known for his offensive schemes, and Coach Webb defensively. Some people wrongly assume, well, you must not be worried that much about the defensive part of it, or you're not that worried about the offensive part. Couldn't be further from the truth, right?
Couldn't be further from the truth. I played linebacker in college. I think Blackman would say that Coach Blade cares about defense.
Yes, they would, Coach.
We spend as much time or more on defense, and I call an offense based on my defensive understanding.
Absolutely.
I don't believe in getting real exotic. I believe in, like Coach said, finding where the weakness. How do we attack where the grass is, or personnel. But defensively, you bet we want to be schematically sound versus everything. We do have a philosophy of how we do it, and some other time I'll show you, and it's pretty simple. And I think that's the more complicated you make it. I know Donnie will say the same thing, man. You add one little wrinkle, and it might take 20 minutes of practice on a simple thing. In your brain or my brain, it's a no-brainer. But for our kids to get it, grasp it, understand it, and consistently do it, it takes time. So we're not very exotic on defense, and we think that's one of our strengths, is getting our kids to know where to line up, know what their assignment is, and be aggressive. We call it the 3 A's. But that's, I would say that's far from the truth that we don't care.
Coach, I know you would echo that too.
Oh, without doubt. Someone somewhere, a lot smarter than me, said it took the average human brain 16 times before something became a habit. I don't know where I read it. It was told to me.
That means 25 for me, Coach.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And
54 kids.
Because we'll do it all the time and say we're going to just change this, use a blitz, and say we're going to, instead of bring it this way, we're going to bring it this way, and then all of a sudden they both go this way. Because practice time is exactly what it is, and so it becomes a habit for them.
Which is obviously a even bigger challenge at our level in terms of time that we have with the players. All right, let's talk about region and playoff expectations. And again, I know you guys are focused on tonight, but at this point in the season, I mean, obviously it's a game at a time. I get all that. Are you thinking kind of long term though? Is it getting in to the postseason? That's kind of number one. You start thinking about placement in the postseason. What's your mindset playoff-wise right now? Coach Blade, we'll start with you.
It's to be honest with you, it's stay healthy and get past the next one. Like I said, our schedule, and I know Donnie's and most of the Williamson County schedules are brutal. We've had, it was 4 really tough games. Man, then I got Franklin, Hendersonville, Brentwood before a break. This is after 4. That's 7 in a row that I'm not thinking about playoffs. I'm just thinking, can we win the next one? Which keeps us obviously in the back of the mind. It keeps us alive. And then can we stay healthy with this schedule? Because on paper, there's not a guaranteed win the rest of the way out.
Right.
We're 3-1, and I don't know if we can win another one. We're sure going to try. But they're high school kids. You never know.
Right.
If the wrong kid goes down, what that does to your team. The wrong situation happens. I mean, so I'm really not thinking about playoffs. I'm thinking, I know this game for us is, and for them, it's huge. It's huge. It's why? Because it's the next one on the table.
It's going to be the same thing said. I mean, it's obviously we need to win, and so because we're on the opposite end of it. We won the first one and then have lost 3 straight. So our next opponent, we want to compete and we need to have a win long before we can ever worry about what's going on the next. I mean, pretty simple math when there's only 6 in our region and only 4 go. It's the first one to. Usually it's going to be 3 losses is out, and so that part is the simple math part of it.
Well, and head to head too. You win head to head. In essence, the opponent has to finish. You lose to a team, you got to win 1 more game or lose 1 less than that team after the head to head matchup. So obviously that makes the night huge as well. All right, let's talk about your offenses a little bit. Coach Webb, obviously, Mr. Lipscomb, he's kind of been Mr. Everything for you. 260 yards rushing, 358 passing, 155 yards a game. Talk about his play and moving to quarterback. First year he's done that. You have to be happy with the way he's played for you offensively.
Without a doubt, he's such a tough kid, and I don't know the quarterback position. You can change a offensive tackle in the middle of the game. You can change a free safety in the middle of the game, and no one even knows it. But too much goes on the quarterback. I'm talking about wins, losses, and then too much credit goes the other way. When you lose, he gets too much credit, and when you win, he gets too much credit. Now I understand the quarterback is a huge part of any offense. I get that, but we are struggling offensively. But we could see lights of it, sights of a light in the tunnel. We finally got that thing pulled and got it pitched against Summit and got out on the perimeter, and then take it all the way back to the Ravenwood. The drive that we had to go down there, we just didn't, and then we had the bad snap, that we didn't finish it. I'm not sitting here saying that we win that football game, we're not, but it changes the way the 3rd and 4th quarter are played if it's 21-7 instead of 21-0 right there. So without a doubt, proud of him. He's a tough cookie, man, and we got to get better up front. We got too good of players up there for missed assignments and that type of stuff, and that's what we've been working on.
Well, and when you look at your team, I was looking through your stats, and even when you look at just comments in the paper, those kind of things, you've got a lot of juniors playing really well. You look at Grayson Bruce, DJ Durham, Carson Repass. You see those names, they keep popping up. Obviously, Amsler and Anderson up front get talked about, but you've got to be excited about that you've got some guys not only this year, but are going to be back for you next year too.
Yeah, they're good kids and definite hard workers. DJ, we're still, he went down last week, and I don't know why it happens. I guess I've been coaching long enough that I know it. There's no answer for it. It hurts when the ones that really, really care about it and work hard and daggone, they got tears in their eyes because they want to get back in the game. And he when he scored the touchdown down there, you feel for those kids because he's on the sideline wanting to get back in that football game and unable to at that point. And so those are the kids that you show up for and you want to keep fighting for, and that's why we keep moving forward.
Coach Blade, every week just seems to keep getting better and better and better. Talk about the play of Ethan Kash last week. 5 touchdowns, and probably a stat that you like as much as anything, 37 attempts, 0 interceptions. You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, he's making good decisions. We've said this for the last couple of months. I really felt like spring and the beginning of summer, we're just kind of going along. About a week after we got back from dead period, he really kind of just flipped the switch and started making better decisions, better touch throws, better. So understanding, because he's got a big arm, understanding when he's got to put a cannon behind it and when he's got to put some loft on it, when he's just got to put some touch on it. and controlling his emotions. He's maturing every week. He's got to deal with me. And he's a tough kid, great kid, love the kid, great leader. He's playing. And last week was an extreme challenge. They blitz sometimes 7 guys, like a lot, at least 6, mostly 7, which we kind of knew that watching them play Ravenwood and watching them play Coffee County. They just bring the house, overwhelming with speed and athleticism. And our game plan was designed around that. We're not going to run our regular plays. They're bringing more than we can, block. We'll be in the shotgun. We got a second and a half to get it off. And when he held on to it, he got in trouble. But when most of the time, and that was I'm the play caller, so that's me. That's me getting a little greedy. And I tell the kids that, that's what's unique about this team. There's nobody pointing fingers. When a coach does something wrong, man, I'll be the first to say that was me and the guys. No, go coach. It's all good. We got this. Their attitudes is really the difference, and it starts with the leader up front and Ethan, Carter Runyon. Those are guys. He's an offensive tackle. Jet Katina. Those are guys that we have a relationship with. That man, we expect a certain result. We expect a certain attitude. They hold each other appropriately accountable for that, and it's worked well for us. And we've built a little momentum going ahead. But we know, it's take 24 hours. The old saying, take 24 hours to celebrate that last win. And my God, by Sunday morning, it's okay. How do we do this again?
Right.
And it's been that way this last 5 weeks. How do we, okay, let's get back on the horse and let's go. And our kids have been that way.
Coach, and credit really, and it goes back to that play calling, but the way you were being defended by Blackman, that really loosened some things up for Bishop too.
It did. I'm not a big cover 0 guy unless we're on the goal line, and they play. But they had some success against other teams, just bringing these guys off the edge, up the middle, 2-in-1 gap. There's no way we can block them with 5 guys. So we always tried to have an outlet. We always tried to have, depending on what where the corner was at, depending on what the corners did. He did a couple of different things. He pressed or he played loose or he went inside and did a couple of different things. And we were able to route adjust and side adjust and hit enough times to get Bishop going and the rest of the receivers going and have a good night.
And I think this is one of those weeks. A lot of people in this area, and rightfully so, talking about the game that Andrew Mason had. And it's sort of, to me, I looked at Bishop's numbers. 11 receptions, 210 yards, 5 touchdowns. Almost doesn't get noticed, which is unbelievable. What a great week statistically for that young man.
Yeah, and he really did. And what was nice, the things I liked the most is he caught a couple of them running away. Some of his catches were absolutely the guy draped on him, and him to be physical as well. So he showed all the components you'd like to see in your receivers, and I thought he had a great game, and it was a great environment. I think our fans were a little stunned, not stunned that we won, but in the fashion that we did, and our kids too. That when you get them, we had them believing. We thought we had a game plan. They didn't do a ton offensively. So our defense started playing with confidence, and then offensively, you get a couple of breakaways like that. Those are good things and give the kids confidence.
Let's talk a little bit more about last week's game. Franklin, 28-14 loss to Summit. I described that as the game of 14s. They come out and take the lead 14-0. You guys come back 14-all, then they score the final 14. Coach, and tell me if there's more to this than I was seeing, but 2 things that really stood out to me. Passing yards and passing attempts, you're almost identical. But then the 2 stats that stood out to me, 232 to 107 rushing, and then the 2 differential in turnovers. Were those things that stood out to you as well? Are there more that you would say, no, this also stood out a little bit more?
The turnovers is without a doubt. Especially when one of them is a pick 6. Because you're talking about a 14-point swing almost of what happened right there. But I don't almost care who you're playing, but let alone a good football team. And we had 4 total turnovers to their 1, I believe it was. They had the one. We had the Atlantic got the interception on the sideline.
Another younger guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you guys both know that's a good football team. You both played Summit. They've got a real chance to take it pretty deep in 5A. Coach Blade, you talked a little bit about the Blackman game. I mean, some may have been surprised you won. You said you guys weren't, but to dominate like you did. They come out and score on the first possession, and then it's 49 straight points against a really good team. So you had to be, you said people may have been a little surprised. You weren't surprised you won, but to dominate like you did, you have to be pleased with that.
Every coach, you work all week to come up with a game plan. If it's executed, you expect to win. You don't go into a game expecting to lose. So that's what I say. We expect to win. We've developed a game plan. If it's executed and the stars align, we'll win. And that one, it had to be. If it's executed right, knowing they're much bigger, more athletic, faster than us, we still think we had a chance if they did this, and they did. And then we said we have a chance if we can get rid of the ball in 1.5 seconds, and on this route. And they never really adjusted or changed to it, and they kept playing the same way. And so it was there because we couldn't run the ball. It's not like, okay, we're up 21-7, let's just ground and pound this thing. We couldn't. They're filling every gap and with big old huge guys, and it's not like we couldn't. It's like sending our lambs to the slaughterhouse type of thing. So it's like we'll just do what we keep doing. Am I going to get buzzed on that one?
I think it's okay. All right, real quickly about tonight's game. Let's talk just a little bit more. Coach Webb, what are some things or maybe a thing that you would say, hey, if this happens offensively or defensively or maybe both, that if this happens, I'm going to feel pretty good?
We need to keep the ball and be able to get first downs and then be able to score, because that's been our thing. We're not scoring any points, and so we've got to keep the ball, keep their offense on the sideline, and then once we get down there, produce points.
Coach Blade, how about for you guys?
Well, we're very aware of the quarterback's athleticism and ability to run and throw. We're very aware of their size up front, and like I said, very much respect for Franklin. For us, we need to eliminate the big plays on defense, keep the quarterback at bay, and then on offense, like I said, we need to find what they're willing to either give up or what they're willing to where there's some sort of mismatch, and then we need to take advantage of it.
Gentlemen, as always, I appreciate your time. Good luck tonight. We'll see you next time.